Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers. I used to think words didn't matter as much as actions. I thought if someone stayed, paid the bills, showed up every day, then the things you said in between were just noise. Jokes. Labels. Nothing serious. I was wrong. My name is Claire. I'm 36 years old. And I destroyed my marriage the moment I decided my husband was beneath me. I didn't say it all at once. It happened slowly in pieces. Little comments. Little comparisons. Little jokes that landed harder than I meant them to. My husband Mark was steady. Predictable. Calm. He worked hard, came home on time, listened more than he spoke. He wasn't flashy. He didn't dominate rooms. He didn't raise his voice. And at some point I convinced myself that made him weak. I started calling him safe in a way that wasn't kind. I told friends he was reliable but boring. I laughed when my coworkers teased me about marrying the nice guy. And then there was my boss, Eric. Eric was everything Mark wasn't. Confident. Loud. Assertive. He flirted openly. He challenged me. He made me feel exciting again. I told myself it was harmless. Just attention. Just words. Funny how I used that excuse when it suited me. The night everything cracked, Mark and I were arguing about something small. I don't even remember what it was now. Dishes maybe. Or plants. He tried to de-escalate like he always did, and something in me snapped. I looked at him and said, God, you're such a beta. That's the problem. You never stand up for yourself. I expected him to get defensive. Or hurt. Or angry. Instead he just went quiet. Not sulking. Not shocked. Just still. He looked at me for a long moment, nodded once and said, okay. That should have scared me. It didn't. I felt powerful. Superior. Like I'd finally said what everyone else was thinking. 2 months later I was sleeping with my boss. I didn't frame it as cheating at first. I told myself Mark and I were already emotionally done. I told myself Eric saw my worth. I told myself Mark wouldn't even fight for me, which somehow made leaving feel justified. When I finally told him I wanted space, he didn't beg. He didn't ask questions. He just said, take whatever you need. I moved out within a week. I expected him to chase me. To wake up. To suddenly become the man I claimed he wasn't. Instead, he disappeared from my emotional life completely. No angry texts. No late-night calls. No ultimatums. Just silence. At first, life with Eric felt intoxicating. Trips. Dinners. Passion. People noticed me again. But slowly, the things I once mistook for strength started to feel like something else. He interrupted me constantly. He dismissed my opinions. He reminded me, subtly but consistently, that I was replaceable. When I complained, he'd smirk and say, I thought you liked real men. That's when I started thinking about Mark. Not in a dramatic way. In quiet moments. When my car made a strange noise and no one checked it. When I was sick and Eric sent a thumbs-up emoji instead of coming over. When I realized no one had asked how my day actually went in months. I tried texting Mark. Just once. Hey, hope you're doing well. No reply. A week later, I ran into his sister by accident. She told me he'd sold the house. Moved closer to work. Started training at a boxing gym. Not because he was angry. Because he wanted to. She said he seemed lighter. More focused. Happier. That's when panic set in. I showed up at his place unannounced. I told myself I just needed closure. When he opened the door, I almost didn't recognize him. Not because he looked intimidating. Because he looked unbothered. I told him I missed him. I told him I'd made a mistake. I told him Eric meant nothing compared to what we had. He listened quietly the way he always used to. Then he said something I wasn't prepared for. I believe you, he said. I just don't want you anymore. I laughed at first. Out of habit. Out of disbelief. But he didn't smile. He didn't argue. He didn't explain himself. He simply said, you didn't leave because I was weak. You left because you needed to feel superior. I don't want to live like that again. I told him I was different now. That I understood. That I respected him. He shook his head. You didn't lose respect for me when you slept with your boss, he said. You lost it when you stopped seeing me as a man. That doesn't come back. I walked away that night feeling smaller than I ever had in my life. The irony still haunts me. I called him a beta because he didn't raise his voice. Because he didn't dominate. Because he didn't control me. But the strongest thing anyone has ever done to me was refusing to take me back. I thought power was leaving. I thought power was choosing excitement over stability. I was wrong. Power was him closing the door calmly and never reopening it. And now, the man I once thought I outgrew is the man I'll never stop measuring everyone else against.